Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. We're now onto the Q&A. Remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and tweet them to me at @axslav or post the question in a YouTube comment in one of the more recent Rules of Engagement YouTube videos, preferably most recent. I'll be most likely to see it in that case. Got 3 questions today. The first 2 questions are both dealing with base racing. Was on one of the YouTube Rules of Engagements that really dealt with a base race TVT. I think it was the Muslim vs. Maker. So we're going to answer the bottom question first, actually, because I think it's easier. So it says, from David Zhang, why don't they just lift off and fly to different corners? So he's talking about in a situation in TVT where it's a base trade. One of the opponents is camping other guys' production facilities. Why doesn't he lift them off and get away? There's 2 reasons. One is, first, it's mostly Marine Army, so it's unlikely to get away anyway, but that's a bad reason. You should never let a unit die because it's unlikely to be saved if you try. Always try to save them anyway. But the other reason is people are thinking, okay, I have X amount of money. Maybe if I can build a unit, maybe I'll kill something. And it might not be the most efficient, but if I micro it right when it's produced, or if I produce them all in a wave, I can get a little bit of damage done. Honestly, though, I honestly think it is better to lift them off and try to find a place where you can start resuming production. And yes, it does take a while from the fly, and yes, many of the buildings may die. But if you know your main base is going to be forfeit, why not try to get out whatever you can get out and get it reestablished at some point in the future? And that's super, super important with orbital commands. So even if you think, okay, I can build a few more Marines and maybe damage his army a bit, or I can produce a Viking or a Banshee out of the starport before it dies and that can fly away and rejoin my army. But the orbital commands, for sure, at the very least, you got to get those guys out of there. So it is something people who are more experienced at base races are doing. You'll see Zergs who experience a base race, the instant they know what's happening, they even pull the drones out of their bases before they die. Things like that. So another question is going to be base trading against a Protoss. This is from DRG War, or DGR War, sorry. So when you base trade against a Protoss, which is more important, tech structures or gateways/pylons? So gateways are always the least priority when base trading against a Protoss. The priority list, depending on the situation, is either key tech structure or the economy, depending on the situation. Usually, in general, let's put it this way. In general, always go for probes first, then Templar Archives, then Stargates if you're worried about Stargate units. So if you're going mutas, then Stargates. If you're going like mass bio, forget the Stargates. So probes, Templar Archives, maybe Stargates, then all the pylons. And actually, Psycore in front of pylons. So Psycore, and then all the pylons. If you don't see the Psycore, don't go hunting it down. Just go for the pylons. So this is only, don't walk around the base trying to find the key buildings. In your eyesight, probes, Templar Archives, Psycore, pylons. Whichever one's closest, kill them in that order. So next question is going to be from Ryan Chan. It says, I was thinking, Hellbats use medevacs to drop and get close. Can't you use your own medevacs to stay away? They waste their boost to get close, so you can use your own to get away. And yes, this is true. This is actually something why, against a Hellbat heavy player, ideally if you have a decent army, you want to be out on the map in front of their base. So as they move out, you can, damage the medevacs, damage the Hellbats, and when they get close, either by drop or by pushing, you pick up and run away. And you just keep doing that, you keep doing that. Or like with Protoss with Stalkers, they're fast enough you don't have to. You can just keep running back with like Blink Stalkers especially. The tricky part is this is what's so strong about Hellbats, and I talked about it when I talked about the Hellbat TVT. The Hellbat player always wants to get their opponent where to box into a corner, right? And that either basically put in a spot where they can't retreat. Either they don't have enough medevacs to pick up the guys, they have to defend their own siege tank so they can't back away, or they have to defend the base. If I'm dropping Hellbats on your units that are in your base, if you pick them up and fly away, I'll just kill your base, and I'll be happy with that as well. So if you're fighting against Hellbats, you want to be in the open where you can retreat using these options. If you're the Hellbat player, you want to make sure your opponent can't retreat. And that's also where Viking count becomes very important. Typically, if you're going mech, if you're going Hellbat tank, you really, really, really need to have the air control. And if you're going bio, you're like, I need so many medevacs to support my bio. It's hard to also have enough Vikings to beat them in the air, which makes it a little bit harder to do these pickup and retreat moves because your opponent is going to have all these Vikings killing your medevacs at the same time. But if they don't, awesome, awesome tactic. Be sure to use it to get away from those Hellbats because you don't want to be have all your guys burnt to a crisp. So wraps up this episode of Rules of Engagement. Remember, again, tomorrow we'll be back for more WCS America content, 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday, every day of the week. Also, at the end of this week, Saturday and Sunday is going to be the WCS America Premier League finals bracket. So it's going to be the top 8 players playing through Saturday and Sunday to see who actually wins the WCS American Premier League. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. Remember, every day, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.